I just got off a plane last night, so...
From?
Australia.
Oh.
So, let's see how we go.
Quite a strong Australian accent.
I do. It kind of gets stronger, I think, when I go home. So,
of course it does,
yeah.
Sorry, I'm so excited. I love the show, so I'm like really like such a huge fan. I'm like, oh my God, I'm sat next to Rose. Sorry. Yeah, I'm really happy to have you on.
A fan of yours.
The Rose that you play, Rose Selfridge. What research did you have to do into her? Because obviously she's a real person.
Well, it's interesting. There's not that much written about Rose Selfridge. There's so much written about Harry Selfridge. So I think that's kind of interesting in itself. She's kind of the quiet woman behind the man. So, but she was kind of a quiet but strong kind of character and very supportive for Harry, I think.
She was quite influential in her own right, though, wasn't she?
Before she got married, yeah, she kind of ran her father's empire in Chicago and it set up a whole kind of real estate empire with her father, but it all kind of disappeared. And she, I mean, there's really not that much written about her after she married Harry.
Did she love him though? Did she? And did he love her?
I think she did. I think she really was his rock, because when she died, really Harry just went completely off the rails with drinking and gambling and women and things. So I think she really was a big part of.
And yet he cheated on her so many times.
Yeah. I think it's just, but some of those men, those kind of very powerful men, I mean, it does kind of correlate, I think. They're kind of very charismatic.
And the women sort of throw themselves at
his
character.
What was he to do?
It's not his fault at all.
No, really. Not really.
Whatever. Anyway, do you find, as a modern woman, playing that role, don't you find it infuriating to, because we wouldn't really accept that nowadays. Well, I mean, there are women who do.
I don't think Rose really...
But not me.
Amelia's not one of them.
No, I wouldn't either. But
probably why I'm single. Sorry, sorry. Go on.
No, I wouldn't either. But I think Rose. I mean, I think in series 1, Rose didn't really tolerate it either. She kind of fought back. And I think in this season 2, she's very much her own woman, and it really is about Harry having to meet Rose on her terms, I think. And
do you feel that you need to do kind of justice to the memory of her, because she's a real person? Does that make a difference when you're playing somebody? Do you feel that added pressure?
Yeah. I mean, I think some of the other characters had a bit more flexibility with storylines, the things that they could do, because they were kind of fictitious characters, like a lot of people in the shops. But with Rose and Harry, it has to be pretty much exact. I mean, we could kind of...
Where do we pick up Series 2?
It's 6 years later.
Right.
So it's 1914.
So the war period.
It's just on the cusp of World War
So the World War is going to change everything, surely, at Selfridge's for the men, anyway.
Yeah.
No,
we don't really
any
get
rations at Selfridge's?
Yeah.
Only buy one pair of shoes a week.
Yeah, just the 10 pairs of shoes for Rose.
Does it reflect on the story, though? Do you...
Yeah, it really does, and it's about how Harry kind of gathered morale for people, and you know, he was kind of spearheaded a lot of campaigns for the war.
Of course, he was too old to go, but I mean, the staff must leave.
Yeah. There's a whole kind of section about the staff leaving
and
women
coming in, taking up the roles of men.
Yeah, it's very kind of strong storyline.
So, Frances, you've just come back from Australia. So you had Christmas with a family and all of that stuff. Yeah. You've got a little boy.
A little boy, Luca.
Who's
8, who's at home watching the show. So hi, Luca.
How do you do? Because I know you're a really busy actress. You've got an incredible CV. You've done so many wonderful things. So you've clearly been busy.
Yeah.
What do you do with Luca when you go in here, there, and everywhere?
Well, my husband's an actor too, and he's a writer, so it's kind of worked out really great that when I haven't been working, then Jerry's been able to kind of pick up.
Oh, that's brilliant.
So it's worked out really well, but there's been a couple of times where, you know, we've had to get grandma to come or babysitters and that kind of thing.
Would she come over from Australia then? Would your mum?
No, but Jerry's mum lives up in Glasgow, Kathy, so she often comes and helps.
Yeah.
We just work it out.
You're married, aren't you, now?
We are. We got married only which is interesting considering the topic. We only got married 3 years ago.
Right.
And we were together since we were 23. So what's that, like 5? No, not really. 6 years ago.
Why did you suddenly decide, I mean, because we were obviously talking about cohabiting, what made you decide to get married?
Well, we've been spending a lot of time in America, and legally you're really not recognised if you're not married.
If you just live together.
Yeah, if you just live together. So it just started to get really tricky. So we're like, well, we probably should get married. And then it ended up being this great kind of event where it actually ended up being something very meaningful to us, and it was in my mum's garden, and it was lovely. But it was, I don't know, I think it's kind of what works for you.
Do you feel different now? Do you feel probably poorer? Because if you had a big party, then...
God, yeah, poor is right, yeah. I don't know, you do feel a little bit different, I think. But I think it's really what works for the individual, I think.
And I think it can get, I suppose, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it was, because, you know, he came to the wedding.
I'm sure
obviously he accepted the invitation. No.
And you have
I can make it.
Are you going to take your other half's name? So it would be the same name as Luca?
I kept my name, yeah, because I don't know, you know, because I'm an actor too, and that's kind of my working name too, so.
There's plenty more where that came from. Just click here to watch more interviews with a whole range of famous faces. And click here to subscribe. It's free, so you'd be silly not to, really.